Hey friends, so a lot of you asked for a tutorial on how to do a works cited page. So we're actually going to do a quick tutorial on everything, assuming that you're just starting your paper now and working on it over the weekend. First of all, make sure that you find the essay prompt and read all the way through it. This is your guiding idea. Notice that there's two pieces of it. As a historian, how would you explain and analyze the Tokugawa era? So you get to decide how to explain it. That's pretty straightforward. You're going to give some facts about it. That might mostly be in your intro. The analyzation is the big piece. And as we've been working on in class, remember that you might have a political analyzation, you might have a social one, you might have a cultural one. That's a good way to break up your paragraphs to talk about three different eras, or I'm sorry, three different topics within the era. So please follow this closely because it's telling you exactly what you need to do. In paragraph 1, you give an introduction to the Tokugawa era. You might say what was before it, what comes after it, and you definitely want to make your argument. Of course, we know we're not going to make our thesis before we look at the evidence because that's how you learned it in high school. And even though I taught high school for a while, that's totally wrong. You have to look at the evidence and figure out what the evidence is telling you. So you're going to research first, and then you're going to come back and write a thesis. Now, if it changes, that's fine. But how would you know what you're going to argue if you haven't looked at the evidence? So down here on page 2 are the links to all of the evidence. Unless you want to find other things, honestly, the easiest way to do it would be to go to Tokugawa primary sources or Tokugawa era primary sources and Google that. Make sure that you're finding an academic website and make sure they really are primary, not secondary sources. But if you want to use these primary sources, they're right here for you. They're all linked. And these are the ones I'm going to show you how to cite today. So I didn't pre-cite any of them because I'm going to show you exactly how I would do it, including anything that comes up that gets in my way. So let's go ahead and let's click on this one from Way of the Samurai. What you're going to notice is here's the introduction to the piece. That's really important. Don't skip it. It's going to give you context for the document. And then it shows you the title of the document and the author of the document. So that's what you need. That's going to be part of what you need for your citation. And even though we're going to use Citation Machine, it's not going to be perfect. Then I might read through these ideas right here. And here you'll notice too, I'm not going to give this one away, but you'll notice it says, for generation after generation, men have taken their livelihood from tilling the soil, or devised and manufacturing tools, or produced profit from mutual trade. So when you think about those ideas, first of all, we notice that we have lots of economic and social ideas, right? Economic and social tilling the soil, which is farming, manufactured goods, producing trade. You, the historian, have to decide, is that modern? Is that classical or ancient? What is your interpretation of that? So after you read through this short article, maybe you decide that this indeed you want to use it. And by the way, here's these little questions that you don't need to use, but maybe they'll guide some of your thinking. So you've used this article, you've decided, oh, this article tells me something about Tokugawa and I'm going to use it. It's better to explain it than to quote it. I know all the articles, so you don't need to quote them. And so the way that you want to do that for Citation Machine is literally just like this. All right. So copy this URL, go to Citation Machine, choose Chicago Citation Generator. Okay. We are getting this from a website, even though the primary source is different. So I'm going to paste that in there, my website, and I'm going to search. And it's going to come up with the correct one right here. I know because that's Asia for Educators. If I look at this right here, I can see that that's from the Columbia University. So that's the right one. Okay, I'm going to cite it. And notice that it has some of the information over here, but it's not going to have everything. So I am going to need to manually enter some of the information. So here we go. I've got the article title. How about the author? Well, this is a little bit tricky. So I'm gonna, oops, can I make two? I'm trying to put this side by side. This is a little bit tricky because the author is actually Yamaga Soko, but the author of the website clearly isn't Yamaga Soko. So we're gonna have to make this one a little bit different. So Yamaga. I honestly don't know which one is first name, last name, but this is going to work for our purposes. The website title here, and for all of those, if you use those for me, is Asia for Educators. Now that's going to be your website title for every single one of the primary sources I gave you. But if you find other ones on your own, that's fine. It'll be different. The publisher or sponsor is Columbia University. Okay. Now I go back to see, I go back to see when it was electronically published. And that information is not available here. So I guess I could use this if I wanted to. It's 2005 right there. So I probably am going to use that. But if I do not have that information, I always just skip it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put it's published in 2005 because I found that date on there. The date accessed will come up automatically. And then once I've filled out everything I can, I complete the citation. Boom, here it is right here. Now you'll notice I made a previous citation and it happens to have it right there. So one of the things that Chicago will do is that it actually makes a list for you. And notice also this is our bibliography. So in Chicago Citation, we don't have a works cited page like you would in MLA. We have a bibliography. And if I do all of them at once, then I can just export my entire bibliography and it's done. So I export all, or I can copy all. And notice here, I can paste my paper for plagiarism errors. I actually don't know if that works or not for free, but you could try it. Your paper always has to be less than 10% plagiarization or else you're going to fail the paper. So make sure you check it somewhere, whether it's Turnitin or not. Now I have here my citations. They have to be in Times New Roman. So stick around to the end of this video and I'm going to show you a few other tips for your paper. They have to be in Times New Roman. They have to be 12-point font. And every line after the first line has to be indented. Now notice this. I can't indent that first line. I'm actually trying. So what I actually have to do is enter. Then I can click on it, tab. Oh, or I'm going to manually do it. No, enter there. Well, I'm not sure why it won't do it in Google Docs. Let's try this one. Usually when I hit return, then I can tab it. So I'm going to try that. Return. Okay, that's making it really difficult. So y'all, you should know though, this part, I'm going to try it this way. This part has to be indented and the first part has to be back. So you'll have to figure that out. Let me show you how it's supposed to look, but now at least you know how to have your bibliography in there. Usually most of you are going to be using Word, and I think it's easier to do on Word. I just chose Google Docs. Okay, this is my bibliography. I need it to say bibliography at the top. And then I want this to be centered. And it needs to also be in alphabetical order. So if you do this separately or you don't do it on Citation Machine, make sure it's in alphabetical order. Now, one of the things you're going to notice about bibliographies is at the end of each sentence is a period. Only a couple of things change for footnotes. And one of those things is going to be the periods. So I believe that this citation list will also make footnotes for us instead of bibliographies, but it's easiest to do it yourself. So two things change when I make my footnotes. Every period except for the last one becomes a comma. So all of these are commas except for that last one, and the name gets switched. So now it's going to be Yamaga Soko. Here it would be Carol Gluck. Okay, all the names get switched and everything else gets turned to a period. Now let's look at how to insert a footnote, because you do not have in-text citations in Chicago, you have footnotes. And I actually do have a Word document right here. This is from a US history paper. Oh, let me make sure I get this into going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to share a screen and share this one. Okay, so here is a Word document of a paper from US history. This one is not what you're writing, obviously, but it's the exact same format. Now notice this. This is a correct Chicago style cover page right here. The title is up top. Your name will go here, the class, my name, and the date you write it. So that all goes right there. Everything's Times New Roman. Everything is 12-point font. Page numbers are nice, but they're not totally necessary. And notice this too, because I have a cover page, I don't have anything in the top left-hand corner. I do not need to put my name or the class again. I just go straight into the paper, okay? When I'm making footnotes, they're gonna look like this. And notice how this student has the first name first, the last name last, and all these commas. Otherwise, it's the exact same format. Now you might ask me, where does a footnote go? Well, this person actually, I pulled up their paper, but this person did their footnotes incorrectly. So we're actually going to fix them. Okay, a footnote goes at the end of the use of a source outside of the sentence. So let me say that again. When you are done using a source, you put the footnote at the end of the source outside of the sentence. So let's pretend that this amount of information right here, it all came from the same source. Let me undo that. This information right there all came from the same source. Okay. Once I am done using the source and the sentence is over, and here's where the sentence is over, but she did accept it. Once I'm done using the source and the sentence is over, then I'm going to go to insert footnote. And so I don't believe you can see it in my share screen because it's on my drive. Let's see, I do not believe that it has it here. Nope, so it's not this insert. It's not footer, it's not header, it's none of those, okay? Insert footnote will actually be up on your, nope, I'm sorry that I cannot show you. If you look at your very top bar, so you have a bar here, but if you go out of it, you have a very top bar. And I'm going to insert, I hope you can see that, footnote. Don't mess with any of that. Boom, insert footnote. Look, put the number there, it put the number down here. Okay, so again, this would be, let me see if I can drag this up one more time. I'm going to try so hard. Nope, I can't drag it to my computer screen, but I go to insert footnote. That's part of my my overall guide from Word. Insert footnote, and then I insert it, and it's right there. So if I'm done using this source, that's going to make the little number go right there. Insert footnote. Insert, boom, it's in the right place. Now I just copy and paste my citation right there. It looks like it's smaller, and sometimes people make the font smaller. It's not smaller. So do not change anything about this. This is done perfectly. Okay, let's say I use another source for just this right here. At the end of the sentence, insert footnote. I'll insert, boom, it automatically numbers it. It automatically tells me what it is. I would not actually insert the same footnote for Yamagasoko again. I would actually put IBID, which is Latin for, I already told you about that. And you can make this smaller if you, I prefer it actually, if you have this not with those big spaces in there. So this is the correct look of a footnote. Here is the correct look of a bibliography. So now that I've told you all that, let me also tell you that I will not count you off very much for these pieces. I want to see your very best effort at making footnotes and a bibliography using Chicago citations. History majors, you will have to use this all the time, so it's a good thing to practice. Everyone else, hear me loud and clear, do your best effort at getting this right, and your points will be just fine. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to come to class on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm looking my weekend finest, y'all. My hair is wet and everything. Don't forget to come to class on Tuesday with your papers so that I can help you. Each person can ask questions. Remember, I'm not going to answer, how is my paper? What I am going to answer is, can you look at my transitions? Can you look at my footnotes? How does my introduction look? Does my thesis work? I can't find a third source. Here's my outline. Those are the things I'm going to answer. And at the same time, we're going to have an assignment on Asian art. And if you're well ahead of the game, you're going to have a really short, easy day. And if you're feeling a little bit behind, you're going to get the help you need. So hope you have a great weekend. I hope this was helpful. Please send questions to email or bring them on Tuesday, and have a great day.